Yeah.
Sorry, Senator McDonald.
Deputy President, I rise to take note of the Joint Select Committee on Northern Australia first report on the cyclone reinsurance pool. Am I right to do that now?
Yes.
Thank you.
You have the call.
Thank you. This is a terrifically important body of work that the Joint Select Committee on Northern Australia has undertaken with inquiring onto the ongoing work of the cyclone reinsurance pool. It's important, in the first instance, that there be a Joint Select Committee on Northern Australia, and it was devastating to see that one of the first acts of this incoming government was, of course, to abolish the Joint Standing Committee on Northern Australia, a committee that has done a huge power of work on inquiries into the under- and non-insurance in Northern Australia, the activities in Juukan Gorge, amongst other planning and bodies of work for Northern Australia. And so I was very pleased to lead the charge, to have that committee, a Joint Select Committee, re-established. And that committee is made up of the chair from the Northern Territory, Marion Scrimger from Lingiari, and the deputy chair, Warren Ench from Leichhardt, both terrific Northern Australianers. And we have a range of other great committee members, including yourself, Senator Orman-Payne. Now, this inquiry is important, and I want to acknowledge the important work that Warren Ench from the seat of Leichhardt, Phil Thompson from Herbert and Andrew Wilcox from Dawson have done in continuing to advocate for the need for there to be an intervention in the market, because we know that in Northern Australia people were either not able to acquire insurance, or if they were under-insuring their properties in order to afford the premiums. We know that this is true because the ACCC did a full inquiry into the insurance impacts, and the final report of the ACCC was tabled on the 28th of December 2020. And that identified the serious impacts that this underinsurance and lack of availability of insurance was having, not just on businesses. And of course, if you don't have insurance, you can't get finance. But businesses were incredibly adversely affected, but on families and individuals right across Northern Australia. The one that continues to break my heart is people who have retired and bought a unit on the Strand, in Townsville, on the Lagoon, in Cairns, somewhere where they intended to see out the rest of their retirement years. But what has happened is the escalating cost of insurance and the state government's inflexible position on how they have to meet premium payments, how the body corporate has to find insurance, was meaning that it was driving these people out of their homes. It has driven people away from home ownership in North Queensland, and it is a very serious issue. Now, what was important about this inquiry is that this is the first examination of what has happened since the intervention of the previous government, the coalition government, in the $10 billion cyclone reinsurance pool. This was a terrific policy announcement, but it is incredibly important that we continue to hold the insurers to account, to understand that the work of the government, the reinsurance pool, and the interaction with the insurers means that Northern Australians are getting the outcome that the government has intended with the introduction of that pool. What we did here was a range of different pieces of evidence around still the problems for marine insurance, about the challenges of getting flood insurance, as well as the challenges for people like the Townsville Racing Club, because it has a capital rate that is higher than the $5 million set by the reinsurance pool. So these were all things we heard about. However, at this point, there is only 2 insurers have signed up to the reinsurance pool. This is in line with the expectations that there would be another 6 insurers sign up over the next 6 months, and then an additional 4 by the end of this year, which should bring the majority of insurers signed up to the reinsurance pool by the end of this calendar year of 2023, which will allow us, the committee that is, to hold another hearing sometime in the early part of next year to continue assessing these impacts on insurance premiums and availability of insurance, access to insurance, because it was always the intention that what this policy intervention would do would be to provide parity of access to insurance through cost and offerings that should be expected right across Australia. So that's the outcome that we're searching for. I have to tell you that having seen a number of councils from South Western Queensland just this week, we know that this challenge of insurance is now creeping right across Australia. And there are regions that are not being offered flood insurance, despite having a significant levee bank around towns like Charleville and Gundawindi. So I can see that there is going to be a requirement for there to be further inquiries into what's happening with what products are being offered to insurance companies and how we're going to address that going forward. But I do commend the work of this report. I want to thank the Chair, Marion Scrimgeour, the Deputy Chair, Warren Inch, and the remainder of the members, as I've already mentioned, Senator Orman Payne and Senator Dean Smith, and of course Mr Luke Gosling, also from the Northern Territory, Shane Newman from Blair in Queensland, Andrew Wilcox, the member for Dawson, Senator Patrick Dodson, from Western Australia, and Senator Nita Green from Queensland. It has been a very collegiate committee on this very important topic, and I want to thank all of the members of the committee for the work that they've done, the interest that they continue to show, and look forward to ongoing work in this regard. Thank you.
Senator McDonald.